G'day everybody, Craig Cobb here from the Gromico and Market Intern. Okay, I wanted to jump in and show you a few things I'm looking at. Looking mainly at Bitcoin and what relates to Bitcoin in the market, and a couple of trades that are floating around at the moment. Look, I'll tell you what's been really good of late is seeing a lot more people starting to understand what the dollar index is and what it does. I never used to see anyone talking about it at all in crypto. I've been talking about it for quite a while. I've been talking about this level for quite a while. I used to trade this for a very long time. I used to do a commentary for the Intercontinental Exchange on the DX and the Russell going back 15 years now. So a very close relationship with the dollar index and its relation to risk on assets like crypto. Obviously, it wasn't crypto back then, but more so looking at the relationship between it and stocks. Of course, being that I was doing the dollar index and the Russell, which is a 2000 on the US market, the lower or the smaller caps. There was a very good correlation that I was able to pick up over those years. It has pushed through. It's looking strong. I do see it having a run. There's no reason with this new trend change, a higher low and higher high, that we can't see further upside. Now, of course, that will likely coincide with Bitcoin being a risk on asset getting hit, and also potentially equities having a bit of a pullback after their very strong run to the upside. As you can see here, we had that little pullback, a very strong run. For the dollar index to keep moving higher, one would suggest this will continue to pull back. Now, it doesn't happen in straight lines though, so just be aware of how the dollar index plays out and its relation to those risk on assets. So it is good to see more people starting to catch on to that. Beautiful trend here. One of my favorite trades, a little cradle right there. Very good move. If it pulls back into this level, definitely tradable. So now I'm going to look at MicroStrategy. Why? Well, MicroStrategy, you are all aware of MicroStrategy and their Bitcoin treasury play, their yield generating STRC or STARK, producing asset. And well, I'm sure you're probably aware of the price action as it has been on an absolute belter to the downside. Now, I spoke in my free newsletter on Tuesday about this support level here. It's now broken down through that. It closed last night well below there, down 9.35%, actually a little bit more because it did gap down. But now that it is below that significant support going all the way back to April, May, or let's say May of last year, it's kind of at a crucial point now. A lot of people say that, the people say, well, look, Bitcoin goes down, MicroStrategy goes down because it's a leverage play on Bitcoin. And whilst I would, agree with the mechanics of that, the reality is that sometimes MicroStrategy can create the environment for which Bitcoin also falls, therefore hurting itself and its share price even more. Now, that came around the time when MicroStrategy or Saylor said they sold 32 Bitcoin. On paper, it's not really a big deal, but it did send, the market lower. So will we see further changes with MicroStrategy and the STRC because it's depegged from $100? It's not really meant, the idea is for it to sit at $100. It's sitting and trading at around 81 last time I saw. So there's a few question marks around MicroStrategy. It's definitely broken that support. Leverage plays in crypto have tended to be what creates the bottom of our market. Think FTX, think Celsius, think Three Arrows. A lot of these blowups have been around leverage, and MicroStrategy is a leverage play on Bitcoin. I'm not saying MicroStrategy is going to go out of business, but certainly there's a lot of eyes on MicroStrategy right now. So with it tanking quite hard, with the dollar index ripping away, what does it mean for Bitcoin? Well, it's already had a really good week as far as I'm concerned. If you've been following my conversations around the market for a while, you would have noted, I won't repeat what I said over here, but I said I'd like to see a trade off of 65,000. Now, I didn't get that short. It just didn't set up, but it did tap 65,000 and it did sell off. Now we've got a very clear defined lower high on the daily to a lower low. In fact, setting a new lower low from this one over here, only by a few bucks though, 59.81. This one's 59.65. So, a bee's dick in it. But fact of the matter is this is a new low within this downward market. There's a clear lower high and a clear lower low. Do I think momentum can continue to the downside? Sure, I can. Of course it can. Have a look. We've got a bit of support running through there. Of course, it's broken. So we've really, if you look at that, we might see a consolidation build into this support level before a break. I think the market does have legs and room to go lower for Bitcoin, and I'll be trading accordingly. Now, on my watch list right now, I've got a couple of trades, one here on CRV, which has already hit a couple of targets. I just want to show you what it is that I'm looking at. This one here, it's hit 2 to 1, so I've made profit on that no matter what, but this is the sort of thing I'm looking for, and I want to show it to you because I want to show you the Binance chart. Clean pullback into that cradle zone. Have a look at Binance right now on this 4-hour time frame. Coming back now is Binance to, let me get rid of that level because it's no longer relevant, coming back into these old lows. Now, we found resistance there thus far. If I can get a small bearish candle there, that is something that I'm more than likely be looking to short. Now, one of the things I did put out in the newsletter earlier on Tuesday, which goes out every Tuesday, is this. Have a look at this. The market, for the most part, is underneath its support. I showed you Bitcoin. Have a look at Ethereum. It's well below any support through here. There was support running through there about 1920. It's below there. Binance is still hovering around there. Okay, here's our lows through here. It's still right around those lows. If I just draw that in through here roughly, you can see a bit of support. We're still hanging around there. It's in a lower high, lower low scenario, i.e. a daily downtrend. Cardano's been getting smoked. The support was up here, long gone. Doge, the same. Support was through here. Tested it, long gone. Solana, again, we've got now into a daily downtrend with a lower high and lower low. I spoke of the likelihood of that. We're below our support. The market itself, XRP too, support here. We are below it. A lot of the markets tested those support levels. We are now with those old support levels becoming resistance, as you can see here in many cases. The market doesn't have a real bullish case to it right now. In fact, I am suggesting that we're going to see more downside, not immediately. Okay, I'm not suggesting we're going to see it immediately because we have seen some decent selling this week already. You know, we've pushed down. We broke the low of last week's candle. It's all looking very, very bearish indeed. The month about to close not too far away, and it's going to be, unless something magical happens, a significantly down month. That's okay. I'm suggesting that potentially we are going to see some more downside. We might just consolidate into this support for a little while, though. So make sure you're trading where the trends are. Make sure you're not over leveraging. Make sure you manage your risk. And make sure you're on my free newsletter. Links in the bio. I'll give you an update every single Tuesday. I hope you have a wonderful week and have had a great week thus far. A couple more days to go. We'll see what we get out of it. Cheers, guys. Bye for now.